Financial wellness. Reach out to them for advice at 855-DON-GINO. And now back to your hosts, Don Getling and Gino Franti.
20-year veteran in handling your home inspections, and Bob's been nice enough to take time out of his very busy schedule because we've warned you the market's hot, multiple offers on homes. It's time to sell, time to move up, time to take action. You can always reach out to us again by going to donandgino.com or check out SantaClaritaHomeLoan.com. There's a lot of great information there, SantaClaritaHomeLoan.com. And Bob, before we get going, I don't want anybody to not be able to get a hold of you because finding a great, experienced, very calm, cool, and collected, I might add, a home inspector could be imperative to your home buying experience. So how can they get a hold of you?
They can go to my website. It's got all the contact information and a lot of educational information that's made available there for them. If they go to www.guyerinspections.com, there's
G-U-Y-E-R.
G-U-Y-E-R inspections.com. There's a wealth of information available there for them.
Okay, including the, what's the 7195 standard of practice?
There is the standards of practice for both ASHI and CREA, and it also has a link, a portal into the Business and Professions Code, the state of California, that dictates what an inspector must do on behalf of the consumer.
So two things I think we talked about off record that I think are important to mention is one of them is that verbal wink and a nod inspection, right? That could happen to you. So what should someone do if they encounter a phone call like that?
A Los Angeles radio station had an inspector on, and he was talking about discount verbal inspections. Well, if you are marketing yourself as a home inspector in any way, shape, or form, it's right there in the state code that it's if it's a fee-paid inspection, it must also generate a written inspection report. So that's part of the ordinance, and it's a state ordinance.
Well, why don't we get into what do you look at? I mean, I don't really know. I mean, I just know I wait for the report, the written report, to see what may or may not be wrong with the home I'm purchasing. I'm glad I got a home inspection. It was it makes you feel more comfortable. It's actually a good thing. What are you looking at?
You've heard the term physical inspection, and by definition what that is you're looking at all of the readily accessible physical attributes of the property. So it'll be the mechanical systems, structure, all of those things. You want to be looking for safety issues, and that are all the components of the built-ins working as they were intended. So that's kind of it in a nutshell right there, and it goes into much more in depth when you go into the standards of practice. Knowing where so much of litigation comes from, most of litigation generates from water intrusion issues. So if you're going to be in the industry, you better be knowledgeable on where water goes. And water has a mind of its own sometimes, and it'll surprise you. So you're going to be looking for wet zones. You're going to be looking for drainage issues. All of your wet zones inside of a house, your laundries, bathrooms, kitchens, under sinks, wax seals around toilets, those types of things. And then, of course, it's great today because we have so many forensics tools that we can use these days.
What a cool word, forensics tools. This is CIS.
He said forensics.
But, we've got moisture meters and we've got thermography equipment that we can use these days, and just a whole variety of things, infrared equipment. But the main thing is think about the things that can either hurt somebody or cause some substantial monetary damage to a home. And water is one of the big things. The other thing is fire. So you're going to be looking at electrical systems, to some degree as far as, are they operate safely? Do we have electrical issues?
Sure.
And exhaust
Yeah, we almost put you to work before
That's
the show
right.
today.
Yeah.
And exhaust ventilation is a big thing. We find people that get in there and they do handiwork, and a lot of times they get into exhaust systems and they really muck them up, you might say.
That can kill people.
Yeah, they can. So you're trying to be that neutral third-party entity that is going to be looking for the things that can go bump in the night, and make that real estate proposition something that may not be too palatable to somebody. So you're trying to think ahead and it takes time. It takes time.
All right,
when
you have to
I
share.
was just going to say, I really did the same thing. Like when I went through Bob's report and put together the list of the things that I was requesting to be fixed, they were one of two items: health and safety or deferred maintenance. Those are really, the concept of an inspection is to come up with items that are going to affect my health and safety and the safety of my family, or things that are deferred maintenance that I'd rather not have to take care of myself.
There you go. Well, we only got about 3 minutes left, so you have to tell us, in all these years, any fun, interesting things you have found when doing an inspection, either stuff that's safety related or could be even funny. Who knows? I mean, you're looking through houses all over the place.
A variety of things. I mean, rooms that don't appear to exist, that you find them because you realize the distance between A and B is greater than the interior size of those rooms. And went back into one room and it had paneled walls, and I'm pushing on the walls and I hear a click in the sound, and there's actually an old room in there that was the humidor room. And
nice.
had some vintage old maple furniture in there from a gentleman who was an actor who made this furniture in there. So things like that.
That's fun.
We
should do that and make a little hidden man cave in our houses, Gino.
Oh, I thought we were going to do it here at the office.
There you go.
And a lot of times in townhome projects or condo projects where they've got abutting adjacent electrical panels, and you take a look at something doesn't look quite right, you take the panels off and you investigate and find out the neighbor next door is tapping into your subject property's electric panel for whatever they're doing in the garage.
That's
nice
fun stuff.
Yeah, I'm sure you found plenty of that, being that we're in California.
So everything is, every day is different, and it's always a surprise.
Well, what I like, Bob, before we close out, because I think it's imperative, we always align ourselves with the very best professionals we can. And when we recognize that as the great job you do, the education you put in, the time you put in, the experience, but also we found that really good professionals are calm, cool, and collected because they know their jobs. They're passionate about their jobs, and you are very calm, cool, and collected, sir. And I know I'd want a friend like you did. You had Bob as a friend protecting you and your family, and that's really good. How can they get a hold of you again, Bob?
They can go to my website, www.geyerinspections.com. They can call my cell phone, which texts me also, 805 area code 501-0733, and I serve the Los Angeles and the Ventura County region. And there's some great inspectors out there, so don't be afraid to shop and get the very best you can find.
All right, and you heard that. If you're looking at purchasing a home or you're a real estate professional, I know some of you out there are listening, especially since it's Saturday, and you should be working like us. So thank you again for joining us, Bob.
My pleasure.
What a pleasure having you
Thank you
on.
again for inviting me.
And now I don't know what I'm going to do. I've been threatening to bring Bob on for 3 years. Now I'm out of threats.
Well, we want to thank you for joining Don Gatling, Gino Franti, and the Don and Gino Real Estate and Finance Show every Saturday, 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. You can find out so much more by going to donandgino.com, DONANDGINO.com, every Saturday on AM 1220 KHTS, and check out NRE Cafe. Thank you for joining us. We'll see you next Saturday.